All right, welcome to episode 7 of Pro Wrestling Talk. I'm here with my co-host Steph alongside with D tonight. Unfortunately, Greg can't be with us, even though he was supposed to be, because the Yankees game is blacked out in Houston, so he'll have to watch it at a bar. So he'll be
Mm.
hopefully be with us next week to preview WrestleMania. And programming notes since when I talked about it, Pro Wrestling Talk will be Friday at 7 next week, not Saturday, because we have to preview WrestleMania, and WrestleMania is now 2 nights, so we can't do the show on Saturday. So that's what's going on. So I'll be reminding everybody again at the end, but thanks D for coming on, and let's get to it.
Let's get it.
Yep. As everyone knows, on Monday Night Raw, it was from Chicago. It was a big episode. Everybody loved it. And it started off with The Rock coming, or Cody Rhodes coming to the ring and cutting his standard babyface promo. At one point he says something to the effect of, "Well, I paid for a third of those seats at WrestleMania." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, you're giving away tickets to people you know." But
Kind of
yeah, and
sounds like
then
he's setting it up for him to win. Like if he's buying a third of those seats, it kind of sounds like that maybe that article was wrong. Because I had seen an article on
hmm
X that says, um, maybe he won't win against Roman Reigns because they have a different plan for him. But I mean, it kind of sounds like maybe he's setting himself up for victory there.
yeah, and he said, I'm gonna pay for a for the bachelor party of a dude named Anthony, and his wife's like, "Who's Anthony?" I don't know, So one of those standard babyface promos, He and then he said he's gonna beat the Rock, and actually he said he's gonna beat the final boss and the tribal chief, and that's when the Rock's music plays and everybody goes crazy. He saunters his way to the ring very slowly, like heel Rock usually does, and he gets in the ring. Nothing happens, and they stare at each other and stare at each other and stare at each other for like a good 3 or 4 minutes. They they're about to go into a duel, in the Texan westerns, one of those things. They're like, and the fans are going nuts, and I get it. They're milking it. They're milking it. They're milking the
Mhm.
crowd reactions, but it gets to a point like, okay, get to it. Get to the fight or get to the promo, whatever you're gonna do,
Yeah,
and
get to it,
then
boys. We got
yeah,
time. Time's
yeah.
running out.
I know they have 3 hours, but it was getting absurd. It was like 3 or 4 minutes of them just staring at each other. Then Rocky finally whispers something in his ear, smiles, and walks off. No promo, nothing. It was just one of those like smiles and walks away. I'm
Probably
like,
saying you're doing a good job, kid.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like boo, hiss, whatever, because the fans are respecting a promo
Meet
from
me in the
Rocky,
back.
and
Well,
they
no
didn't get
offense,
it.
but I told my dad because there was I think it was for either SmackDown or Raw. I can't remember,
Uh huh.
but there was a commercial that came on, and I was in the bathroom getting my makeup on, and I heard The Rock's voice, and I went, "Oh, shut up, Rock! You haven't been relevant since the '90s, you idiot."
Yeah.
So my disdain for The Rock is, look, dude, your time has come and gone. The '90s are over, dude. You need to get over it. What do
Well,
you think,
Rock.
D? D?
What, say that again. You asked me.
Oh,
Yeah, he said,
um,
"What do you think?"
what do you think about The Rock doing no promo and not being relevant since the '90s?
Yeah, no. I mean, how can I say it to you? I was like a Rocky Johnson fan, to be honest with you. When he
Uh,
first came on the scene, and even when he got booed, like, "Oh, kill Rocky," remember that and the whole
Die,
nonsense,
Rocky, die.
right? Yeah, I'm like, all right. So my thing is this: it's so I'm only gonna take it that because this is the first season that they do the XFL UFL thing.
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted to do a promo thing going on there, following because I think his season. I think they opened this weekend. I don't know. I just think that
Mhm.
he's just promoting every time he shows up on WWE. He's just promoting something. You know what I mean? And I do agree with you. I mean, as a wrestling fan, whatever. Like The Rock, you know, whatever.
Uh, But but yeah, I mean, he's been, he's hanging around, and then after later on, the camera or the interviewer asked him, "What did you whisper to Cody?" And he's like, "Ask Cody." Then they go to Cody later in the night, and he's like, "I don't want to repeat it because he can't keep his promise anyways." So then get to the end of the show. They have a main event between Jey Uso and Nakamura. I think I didn't watch the match.
Knock them
It's
over.
like yeah, and the bloodline comes out and to try to hit beat up Jay. Excuse me. And then Cody Rhodes and the other guy Seth Rollins comes out. I forgot his name. And they fight off. Then Jey Uso wins, and then in the back, Cody's beating up Solo, and then The Rock hits him from behind, and that begins the beatdown. He beats the crap out of him, like quite literally. I mean, it's not literally, but but he beats the crap out of him, and he beats the crap out of him, and he beats him, and he beats him, and he beats him to the point where he's bloody. And I think they did the blood correctly, because
Hmm.
if you watch the segment, which I'm not sure you watched, but let's say you watched it and you see The Rock, throwing Cody into his bus because he has
Hmm.
a bus, like it says American Nightmare on it. So he has a bus. He threw him into his bus. Cody falls, and Rocky does this with the camera, like okay, look at me,
Mm,
and he's cutting his promo while Cody is obviously bleeding. Yeah, it's obvious what he's doing. That's why the camera, and The Rock grabbed the camera. It's like then he starts cutting his promo, talking about he's the final boss and nobody can touch him and blah 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 blah. And then he goes over to Cody, and that's when he's just full of blood, and it's raining too,
Hmm.
which had it more of an effect. It's like, oh
I wonder
wow.
why they were all wet. I'm like, would they stick them in a river or something?
Uh,
it was
no, it just
raining.
started raining. It was like, oh wow, that made it look even better, I thought, because it reminded me one of those movies, like a John Woo movie,
Right, right,
except
yeah.
that there was no dubs around. John Woo loved his dubs in his movies. But yeah, so they did that. The beatdown, Cody or Roman. No Rock. I mean, I can't even think of names right now. Grabs Cody, grabs his blood, smears it on that belt that said Mama Rhodes, and "Yeah, I'm gonna hand you this belt at WrestleMania with your son's blood and his tears, and your tears, and because Cody is never winning that championship." And then he grabs this is before he grabs him and says, "This is why you don't fuck with the final boss." And he said fuck.
Mm.
So
They
they
didn't bleep it.
they did.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah, but they muted
Don't
it,
mess
but
with the beep
this is
boss.
why you don't fuck with the final boss. And the people in shit like, whoa, like because they don't never hear cursing
Yeah.
Right.
on WWE television. So eventually the show ends, and The Rock is like, it didn't have to be this way, but this is the only way. Look
Hmm.
at your son, like he's talking to his mother. It's like, and then the camera pans down, and he's busted open and just laying there dead. And after
So to
that,
speak.
he continues beating down Cody. They posted this on Twitter. Rock posted this for another 3 minutes.
Hmm.
I'm not sure you saw that video. I think I tagged one of you or both of you in it, and they were
Yeah,
like,
sorry.
and Rock was like, no, they can't. The producer was like, oh, we're off. It's like, fuck that. I'm not done. The shit ain't over yet. I don't care. The show is over. Something like that. Then he starts hitting Cody with his belt twice, and it's like, oh god, it's wet too. So that must hurt even worse. I mean, I've been whipped with a belt in my younger years, and that hurt. I can imagine how Cody
Well,
felt,
I
especially
wasn't whipped
being
with a
wet.
belt. I got a bare hand, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
so he got whipped twice, and The Rock told him to basically fuck him. He's walking away and said, "Fuck him." Like, so it seems like
I'm not.
they were kind of obviously pushing Rock as a heel. They're trying to do a full blown
Mhm.
heel turn, not like half
Mhm.
heel, half babyface like he was before.
Yeah, but in my opinion, no offense, Angel, but I think it's kind of like the Stone Cold thing. Like people don't want because I was listening to excuse me for just a second. I was listening to Cornette, and the thing is, they still cheer him even though they are trying to The Rock concert still kind of got cheered, even though it was the shits. and
That was
but I
bad.
mean, like he sort of is like half a baby face because it's like the Stone Cold thing. They don't want to boo the Rock because the Rock is such a star. You know what I mean? And
I know.
so go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not like I know. But they're trying. They're
They
trying
they
to.
definitely are trying. They definitely are trying. What I can say to this is I don't see I mean, other than getting heat, I don't see the need to tie up Cody like he's some kind of, like he's being punished like he was a small boy, and like his mom would
Uh,
punish him with a belt,
yeah,
that kind of thing. I
the
mean,
Rock
he's not
kept.
a child; he's a full
Yeah,
grown man. I mean, uh, he has a child. I think. I think he has two kids.
he has a
No, he has
wife.
a he has a daughter. I
I think
think.
it's a daughter. That's all he has.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rocky. I remember that reminded me. Rock kept saying, "Look at you now, boy. Look at you now, huh?" He kept calling him
Yeah.
boy. Like,
Yeah, it's like they're treating him like a little kid, and Cody's not a kid anymore.
thanks
Yeah.
for the happy Saturday. Appreciate it. Please
Hi,
like if you haven't.
CBC.
BX Maze. That this is you're talking about this. It's my a beer that I got. So that's why I'm chugging.
Oh,
Whoa.
you're gonna have a
Whoa.
tipsy angel,
Whoa. Whoa. I
like
think
you
I'm
were
running
for
out
my,
E. I'm
like
running
you,
Uh
out E.
huh.
like
Uh
you
huh.
were for my birthday bash for Kurt. Half
BX
Look.
drunk.
Maze. I was pretty buzzed there too. Get the Rock out of here. Yeah, the Rock had that southern drawl when he said boy. He's like, get
Yeah.
look at you now, boy. Look at you
Little
now.
a little Brahma bull,
Yeah.
trying to do a little Brahma bull kind of Texas kind of
Hey,
thing going
no Ric
on.
Flair stuff, X Maze. No Ric Flair stuff. We don't like Ric Flair here.
No,
But
so they in Chicago, and it's true. I go back to what Angel was saying. So you would think that in Chicago, CM Punk crowd, they'll boo the Rock. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. You think that the crowd would be like me personally? If I'm there, I will boo the Rock. But it just remember if you still have young kids there,
Yeah.
yeah.
eventually it's like the John Cena. Remember John Cena is like with the
Mhm.
kids cheering, yeah, and the adults like no.
Mhm.
I, I'm just saying
It
with,
was
with the Rock, yeah.
Yeah.
it was an interesting time, especially when Cena was at his prime. But yeah, I mean, obviously the Rock has having his midlife crisis. I mean, he's like 52 and
Yeah.
he's
That's
returning
how
back
I
to
would describe
wrestling.
it.
Like
Mm-hmm.
he's but yeah, overall, like I've said on Twitter, I think he's doing really well. I think even though yes, I don't want. It's like I want to hate this guy because of Maui and because of everything else he's done. He's also endorsed Joe Biden. Somebody on Twitter told me, yeah, I
Right.
know that too.
Who? Who were you guys talking about? Cody or The Rock?
No,
The Rock.
Rock,
The
Oh, The
Rock.
Rocky.
Rock. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
with
like
the
Cody
whole
Rhodes
Hawaiian.
endorsed Joe Biden.
No.
What are we talking about?
No,
No,
it's
The
The
Um,
Rock.
Rock.
oh, The Rock. Well, that's because, and here's the deal. Why I don't really care for The Rock anyway. I wasn't really a big fan of The Rock in the first place, but I mean, when he came, did you guys hear about the rumors of him that he had been asked to run for president?
Yeah,
That,
Yeah,
yeah. Yep. Yep.
and I'm like, but Rock, who do you stand for? What do you
there you go.
stand for? Do you stand for
Fuck The Rock.
anything?
Yep, fuck
Yeah,
The Rock.
And,
First
exactly.
and crew. Thank
Nobody
you for
knows
that
what he
comment.
stands for. What are your
right.
policies? He just kind of said, "Well, I've been asked to run for president and I think I'll do it." Who cares if you were asked?
Oh no,
What are your policies? Why should I vote for you, Rock?
I
He
heard he
never
was
really gave an
running with P
answer.
Diddy. Oh no.
Yeah. Uh,
I think everybody was,
that
but
dude was the fall guy because I think
right.
that I agree with I forgot who I heard that from, but I agree that I think he's the fall guy. I think it was redacted that they're trying to cover up. They didn't raid his house to find things. Kind of like the first name Jeff, last name E. I think
Mhm.
they are trying to do a cover up because you'll never see that client list that
Mm.
P
Yeah.
Diddy had. So I just think that's a big thing. But going back to The Rock, and then it just seemed like he was like doing it for pompous reasons. The only
Mhm.
really movie I liked The Rock in was I did like Walking Tall, some of it. And then I
Yeah.
really liked the Scorpion King, but that's about it.
And then so I was gonna say, Mrs. Uh, so when I was watching the Little Rock or whatever the show that was, I
Oh, Young Rock.
Young
yeah, the
Rock.
Young Rock.
Hmm.
So I in that show they had him as like a third person, kind of running for president. So maybe
Yeah.
that was that thing that kind of stirred up that whole situation. Nah, get him out of politics. I'm sorry, get him out of
Yeah,
whatever.
we don't need, no
Yeah.
offense, but I mean, we already have Jesse, but at least Jesse told the truth. He,
Right.
called balls and strikes. With The Rock, nobody knows what he
No,
stands for, what
no,
his policies would be. And
right,
like most people would say, "Oh, well, he's more Republican than he is Democrat." Well, okay, but again, what does he stand for? What are his
right.
policies? It was like do you all remember when Hogan was saying on WCW back in like 2000 that he was going to run for president? I think it was 99. But it was
Hmm.
just when Jesse Ventura had been named governor of Minnesota. And Hogan's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm running for president because if, he was making fun of Jesse Ventura. He was poking fun of
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I
That would.
remember that.
Yeah.
it."
That's what it's about.
Right.
That
Right.
he
So,
was poking fun at Jesse.
and I just thought, what the heck is he talking about? President of what? What does he want to be president of? Because Hogan was ridiculous. I mean, no one would vote for Hogan. No one knows his policies. But
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing, with The Rock is like, why would I? Why would I vote
Yeah.
for The Rock? What's the reason I would vote for The Rock?
I would. And the only reason why you would vote, people vote for him because he's the Rock. He's the celebrity.
Right. He's a
His
celebrity.
his toxic masculinity that was presented in Black Adam movie showed his true colors. He's not for the people, only himself. That Black Adam movie ruined his career,
I
probably. I
I
mean,
didn't even
Hollywood.
see it, to be honest. I did not even see Black Adam.
It
Like I
probably
said, the
ruined his
only
career.
movie yeah, the only movie I've really seen with The Rock was, The Scorpion King, Walking Tall. Um,
And that was his early stuff
That was
too.
his early movies.
Real,
Yeah.
yeah, and I
very
caught
early.
some of, what was it, The Andreas Faults or
Okay.
something, that movie.
Yeah. San
Um,
Andreas Fault. Yeah, that was pretty
yeah,
good.
San Andreas Fault. I can't believe they redid a video game. It was called
Rampage. Yeah,
Rampage. And they
Rampage.
stuck him in Rampage, the
Yeah,
movie. I'm like, don't remake stupid
right.
stuff. That was a video game I used to play in the
Yeah.
arcade.
Oh,
The-
remember those
Rocky
days with
also
Rampage.
Oh,
appeared. He also appeared in the Jumanji films. He did like two or three of
Right.
those.
And
yes.
that one with all fair, it was okay, but because him and Kevin Hart got this little chemistry going on,
Yeah.
Hmm.
they
Oh, I
they,
didn't
they
see
Yeah.
any of those movies.
yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, my thing, I guess with the Rock in the early movies is that you could tell he was hungry. Like, okay, let
Hmm.
me
Yeah.
work on my art. Somewhere when he became big, it's like, I let me just throw my name in there, and then with the hope that, well, not with the hope, because a lot of people do flock to see his movies. It's just on
Right.
the second weekend is that people be like, "Nah, I'm good, Rock." you know.
The
Yeah.
thing is, like, they compared, I think it was Jim Cornette compared The Rock to, like, it just seemed like the more movies The Rock did, the bigger, muscular he got.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, if the
Yeah.
more movies that Hogan did, the less muscle mass he had. And then he came
Yeah. That.
back and he had to actually work out when he came back to WCW.
I think the
Yeah.
more hair Hulk Hogan had too in the movies.
The Hogan.
Hey, but I have to say I do like Mr. Nanny. That was one of my favorites.
Okay.
And I did like Assault on Devil's Island and Assault on Death Mountain.
What wasn't, it's funny 'cause I was gonna bring this up. I could have sworn that Undertaker appeared in one of Hulk Hogan's movie, like an extra, like it was like an alien
um.
movie.
I don't
Could
know.
that have been? I do like No Holds Barred too.
So it was, yeah. I mean, I was, I was speaking about. I seen
That was
No Holds
before The
Barred.
Undertaker, though.
No, well, it was after. It was like an alien movie with Hulk Hogan, or that he came out of space, or that somebody
Oh,
from outer space was looking for him.
Space
Uh.
Mountain or something, or
Oh,
Space Outlaw or something.
let me
I don't
see.
know.
Oh crap! I know what you're talking about. I didn't see
Um,
that movie, but when I saw Mr. Nanny the first time, I was just like, "Oh, that's funny. That's so great." And just because you can't whoop these kids, you
Yeah.
can't whoop them, but the way he handles them, and then like they, sort of whip him
Who
into shape at the end there. Like, no,
Yeah,
we're keeping him. No,
yeah,
Batista was bad. Batista was not good.
Oh, Suburban Commando.
Bourbon Commando. That's
yes, that's the
yep,
one.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, he made a little cameo there as one of the people that's looking for Hulk
That was been about 94 ish,
or something to that
95
effect.
ish. Yeah. So I mean, the Undertaker was well established by then. I know it
Hmm.
wasn't the gentleman that I can't think of his name right now. I can see his face though, but he also played in Ghostbusters 2. Well, he plays the promoter in No Holds Barred, but he
Mm,
also played the guy that's like with the mayor in Ghostbusters 2.
mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
he plays. He
Yeah.
does some really good roles, and I do like. The only thing I didn't like about Tiny Lister being, I liked him in the movie, but I didn't like Tiny Lister trying to come back as a wrestler because dude couldn't wrestle. He was an actor,
Well,
for heaven's sake. But
well,
they
he
had to
had a
keep up the
yeah,
Hogan movie during the movie, so that's why they had Beefcake and they had Hogan versus Macho and Tiny
tiny.
Lister.
Well, they had to hide Tiny Lister in those 6-man tags because
Yeah, they
he couldn't
literally
work.
didn't.
So
Yeah, he didn't know how to work. So I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of like when you
it's
watch
like they're
those
doing.
matches
It's like they're doing with today, like they're doing with Jade Cargill. They're hiding her in a 6-man tag at WrestleMania.
because she
Right.
can't work.
A
Yeah,
woman, 6-woman tag. Sorry, they're hiding her in a 6-woman tag at WrestleMania with Bianca Belair and what's the other girl? Naomi in a
Hmm.
Naomi. Yeah,
6-man tag. Yeah, a
the,
6-woman tag. They're hiding her there, even
yeah,
though
but
she looks like a star. That girl looks
Oh
like
yeah.
holy
Uh,
crap. Looks like
done right. She could definitely, if done right, if she's booked right,
yeah, it booked right.
you
well then
know,
let's teach her some moves, boys.
right.
Let's get
Well, they've
her
been trying.
on the right
They spent
track.
See?
they spent 6 months at the performance center. I don't know how many
Right.
moves she learned, but clearly they're still hiding her. They don't trust her to go 1-on-one yet.
Going
How
back to
about
No
Charlotte
Holds.
Flair? Is she coming back anytime soon, or is she kind of like
Charlotte,
out?
She's
she
gonna
blew
be
out her
out.
knee. She
Yeah,
blew
she's
out her
gonna be out
knee.
for a
So,
while.
hmm
Oh man. I mean, that was if any of the women wrestlers I would trust to be with is Charlotte Flair because she was second generation.
oh
Even though
yeah,
I hate her father with a passion.
she's
But I mean,
arguably the best worker out of any girl in WWE. Her
yeah,
and
she
Rhea
was second
Ripley.
generation. That's why. So I mean, I like a lot of the second and third generation guys and girls.
Hmm
What is the other lady's name? Come on, she's Jim Neidhart's daughter.
Oh,
Natalia.
Natalia.
Natalia,
Oh
Natalia.
yes.
no, no,
Hmm
no.
Does she even
Natalia's
wrestle?
great.
Yeah,
She comes. Yeah, she comes once
she's
in a
still
while.
there.
I mean, yeah, she's still there. Natalia. My thing with Natalia, and I always say, she's a definitely great wrestler. She puts in work. You definitely bring her in when they're doing these six tag team thing,
Hmm
Mhm.
because she's the one that's gonna put some work, and she's
Okay.
gonna make people look good. Look good too. You
Yeah,
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Because
that
she's second generation. Like I said,
right?
yeah.
she knows the ropes because
She's
she grew up with it with her dad.
Yeah, she's there basically to put over younger
Yeah,
talent at this point.
We knew what you're gonna say.
It's not like she's gonna get pushed anytime soon.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, getting back to The Rock, I wanted to read his tweet because I like his. Even though I don't like him as a person, but his old fashioned his old school wrestling mentality is good. I hate constraints and bullshit rules. And just because WWE producer says clear, meaning we're no longer live and on the air, that doesn't mean that I stop whatever I'm doing and tell everyone great fucking job. It fucking pissed me off. I can't shut my emotions off just because the script says we're done. But even in this crazy fucking world of pro wrestling, this is a microcosm of larger issue. I have individuals, corporations, and governments telling us what we can and cannot do. Rocky sound like a politician there.
right. I was
But
about
you
to
you
keep
say that.
endorsed Joe Biden, who
Yeah,
is
no.
a corporate
That's why I wanted to
tool
bring this up because I read this. I'm like, dude, you sound like a politician there. It's
Right.
like,
for rich
e-
people. I mean, come
even though
on.
even
Yeah.
though I agree with the sentiment, but still, I mean, you sound like a goddamn politician. You can't. You have to do it this way. You have to say it that way, or you'll get
You
canceled.
know what, Rock? This is why people stop trusting you. The whole thing with Oprah, and then you're like,
Hmm
"Oh, well, I know what it's like to have a 9 to 5 job." When was that? Huh? When did you work a 9 to 5 job
When he
without
was like,
having a famous father and
right.
grandfather, other
I
than your father was a freaking man whore?
Yeah, I don't know when he would have worked a 9 to 5 because According to his own biography, he went to the University of Miami, played in the NFL for a bit, then played in
Yeah.
the Canadian Football League, tore up his knee, he couldn't play anymore, and then he got his dad to call Pat Patterson, and that's how he got signed to WWE, and he
Yeah,
been there
because
ever
he didn't really
since.
want to be a wrestler. He wanted to be a football player. I
Yeah.
get that, but I mean,
Hmm.
don't freaking sit here and lie to us when you are you're third generation superstar. You literally, I'm not saying that wrestlers made a ton. I'm sure Rocky Johnson didn't make a ton of money, like millions,
Yeah. No,
but I mean,
he
for
didn't.
freak's sake.
Well, my thing, like example with The Rock, right? Now, I'll give him the respect. He does put in some work. It's not like
Hmm.
he's just he does put in some work. Now, the
Well, he
only
knows the
different,
business. Yeah.
right? The only
Yeah.
thing with example, The Rock and your, how can I say, your average Joe, quote unquote average Joe, is that he does have the background of his family. So that means he could fall 3, 4 times and still get back up because he does have that surrounding.
Yeah.
Right.
Unlike people like us, if I was to become a wrestler, if I was on that wrestling move, if I fell one time, if I made one mistake one time, I'm done. I'm done
Hmm.
in the industry. But because it's The
Right.
Rock, you got that thing legacy, and I don't think
And
that
everyone
sometimes.
knows who his father and his
Right,
grandfather
right,
was.
right.
His grandmother was literally a shitty promo. And hey, if you can't take the heat, X Mays, get out of the
Yep.
kitchen. I'm not being harsh. I'm literally, he's being a hypocrite. He's saying, "Oh, I hate, corporate
Yeah.
greed and corporate
But then
corporations
he's
telling me what to do." But yet
It
uh,
sounds like
you literally endorse Joe Biden, who is a corporate tool. He's bought off by
right.
rich people
Yeah, he sounds like a one of these progressive politicians that say the right things, but then turn around and do exactly what their
and do
party tells them to
exactly the
do. Hmm.
opposite. And the whole thing, like I said, with Oprah was bullshit. He's a
Hmm.
multimillionaire. He's been in Hollywood for how long
He's
now?
like he's
He
like
doesn't know what it's like to be poor. I don't think he's ever been poor in his freaking life because, again,
he,
he had a famous father and
yeah,
a famous
hmm
grandfather.
he's like, hey, poor people, give us money for our charities so we can give
Mhm.
money to Maui. Even
And
though I'm a multimillionaire and so is Oprah. Oprah's a
I like
billionaire, but
the yeah, she's a multi-billionaire. I
yeah.
like the rebuttal. She's like, there's one girl's like, please tell me I did not just see The
Hmm.
Rock begging poor people who's a multi-millionaire for money. I was just like, yeah, bravo.
He
Standing
Right.
did.
ovation.
They create
You,
fear. Go ahead.
mhm. No, it used
I
to
was,
be that back then that you have these kids like probably like with the Maui, you will show kids like kind of like shawed up and all that, and please help. But now you got these celebrity with money telling you to help them.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
It's
Rock, you have multi-million dollars. Why don't you help them? That's why I mean, you came from Hawaii. Your
yeah,
grandfather, your grandmother, who's the shittiest, promoter in the world, but still, your
yeah.
grandfather was a wrestler and came and was in Hawaii. Your father was also, Rocky Johnson, who was very famous.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you have all this, you have so much ties to Hawaii, and now all of a sudden you're like begging poor people for that help.
Yeah, it's
No, dude,
ridiculous.
you're from Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. You know why? Because I'm dirt poor. And I'm never
Yeah,
going to get to Hawaii because I'm dirt poor.
yeah. They create fear if you have a different perspective and don't live by the rules. Is their way or no way? Fuck that. I say it the way that I want to say it. I do it the way I want to do it. My choice, our choice. Fuck your clear. The final boss.
Well, if that were
So that
true, then leave WWE. If you hate it so much because it's corporate owned, but you're on the board of the directors for fuck's sake. For
yeah,
heaven's
it's a
sake, Rock,
that's the
you are
amazing
the
part.
boss.
I get that this is written in character, I'm sure. It's not like his written,
It
his
sounds
real
like
Dwayne
it.
Johnson, but it is in
It
his
sounds
final
like
boss
it.
character. But
Yeah.
still, I mean, I read it and it's like he's talking about how we can't let corporations and governments tell us what to do and censor us. But
And
dude,
meanwhile,
you're
you literally endorsed a guy who is for censorship and who's a corporate tool. And by the
I just
way,
think
we may get flagged for this, but I say we start cutting the heads off of rich people and people will pay attention. That's just my thing.
uh,
Sorry,
yeah,
but that's how I feel.
yeah, I mean, I get the sentiment. Um the videos